And welcome to the Work for Change podcast. It's your host, Jean.
And your other host, John, who just took a drink of his water. I thought you were going to say more there.
I was thinking about it.
It looked like you were. And your other host, John. Welcome to episode number 96 of the Work for Change podcast. We're almost to 100, man.
I know.
What are we going to do for 100? We should do it naked.
What we should do is like those like old school like sitcom shows where they like it's an episode, but it's just a whole bunch of they just do a wwhole bunch of like throwbacks throughout the season.
Then we don't even show up. We don't even show up for episode 100. Yeah. It's just throwbacks. It'll be 10 seconds of each episode.
That would be boring.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be really bad.
Well, if we
had someone edit it really nice, it could be interesting, but not as an actual episode. But I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do that either.
Yeah.
So, what we do is we do the bare minimum here at the Work for Change podcast. Whatever it takes.
Work for change, but not too hard. We didn't say work hard for change.
Don't work hard for change. Just do
the bare minimum.
Do some stuff.
Yeah.
Bare
minimum effort is all you need to do.
How's your week been?
Oh man, very busy. So I am in this office where we record the podcast now, probably 12 to 14 hours a day. Can you vouch for that?
I can vouch for that.
So I usually get here between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. depending. I'm going to start getting here early again because I'm going to start taking the classes, which we can get into.
Yeah.
But I usually get here between 9 and 10 a.m. And then I will usually be here until about 10 to 11 to a lot of times midnight now. It's because like I stream here, so I've been streaming almost every day on either YouTube or Twitch, so I do both. So hey, you guys go follow Obese Beast, twitch.tv/obesebeast, and then it's just YouTube. But so I usually will stream, and then I'll be spending a few hours editing, which I'm seriously considering getting someone to edit that because they could do a lot better of a job than I can, and it wouldn't take as long. It takes me forever. But again, that's another whole thing. But so then I'm editing videos, and then sometimes I'll do 2 streams a day. But yeah, I've just been spending a lot of time in the office, which I really enjoy. Like, I know it sounds like a lot, which it probably is, but I don't know. I've never really had my own place before, like my own space, like even in our house, right? Like up until recently, because I just got a new bed, my bed was too big for my room. And so I had no room in there to do anything. And so even there, like I didn't have my own space. So it's just like, I've never had a place and I built the whole office up. You know what I mean? I like got lights for it. I got a whole new desk. I set up a whole PC, put up all this stuff. And like, so it's something I'm really proud of too, I think. And so I like spending time in here. So, I mean, my week has been pretty much that. I mean, you know that, like just been editing and all that stuff. What about you?
My week has been just busy. Probably just as busy, but in different time domains and different projects, if you will. Mm-hmm. Just kind of a typical day is going to be like, let's just say Monday, the day we're recording.
Yeah.
Wake up at 4:30, work out at 5:30, coach 6:30.
I can't believe you wake up at 4:30.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
So wake up at 4:30, coach work out at 5:30, coach 6:30. I'm at work by 8:30. At work until about 3:30 or 4. Come here, film the podcast. Coach 5:30 p.m., coach 6:30 p.m. Make sure this podcast is up. Mm-hmm. Go to bed. So it's like, that's what those days look like. A lot right now. That's not a pretty uncommon day. Monday is a pretty long day, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, because obviously we only record one podcast a week.
We only record one podcast, but like I probably spent the last week just nosedived in our new design we're working on.
Yeah.
And so it's like talking with, we used a website called 99 Designs. So talking with designers, trying to get an idea of what the design we want to be.
And I think we did a really good job.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Like, it was kind of like the guy who prints all of our stuff, Ken, great dude, shout out. He kind of had this idea of like, hey, like, what do you think about like work for change for life, blah, blah. And we're like, yeah, let's run with it. Cool, that's great. And so then
I really like it because it can mean a lot without having to be explained.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like work for change, but then change for life also. But then when you explain it, I think there's even more. For me, it works so well with the whole weight loss stuff, right? Because it's something I talk about is sustainability. And it's like, yes, you can work for change.
Can we pause on that?
Okay,
let me just complain about my week for a second,
okay.
and then we'll get into the design. Does that sound like a plan?
Sure, whatever you say.
So anyway, working on that.
Like, so the reason that I like,
and then like working on the podcast, which is I consider like my third job, right? And so really trying to drive stuff home with that, and like we've joked around that for the past year and a half it's kind of just been this thing that exists, and now we're really trying to like up the level and up the production and up the quality and up the everything. So wanting to like, you know, if I'm Aaron Burr, I just want to be in the room where it happens. If you will.
Well, and then a bit. Well, no, okay. Sorry. Finish your week. You keep getting distracted, and then
I give pause for dramatic effect.
Well, and then I want to say something. So finish your freaking week, dude. Jeez.
And then coaching. You know, one of our coaches stepped down, and so I took up his morning classes. And so
How long have you been doing that for?
This is the first week.
Jeez, dude.
So I did lose some PM classes, which is good because I am an early riser. So those PM classes were killing me because I just like want to go to bed. I'm trying to coach people. But
like the 7 p.m.
Yeah,
it's not even 7 p.m. anymore, right?
6:30. Yeah, luckily they moved it up half an hour. And so doing that plus our job wise, we're finally opening up our church building. And so I'm the creative arts director at Rise. So it's all the videos we need, all the explanation videos we need. We're still going to be doing our online service plus our video production service. I'm part of the multimedia team, worship team. So it's just a lot of things are kind of storming at the same time, which I love and I'm not complaining about. But I definitely feel that like tiredness and that like, okay, like this is not a sustainable thing for a long time. But for this season right now, like I'm really trying to hustle and build something that can gain momentum and then keep moving even without my every like observing hour behind it, if you will.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Well, like one thing that I wanted to say that we're really thankful for is like with how well the first launch did, it gave us like we've never really had money. The podcast has never made money ever, right? Yeah. We've literally never. We've done a couple ads, but like it was like seriously very low.
Our rates were embarrassingly low.
Yeah, it was very low, which is fine. Like I don't really care about that much. But like the being able to do the launch and actually get some money from that and then be able to invest. And like we haven't even invested all the money, but like there are like, other things that we want to do, you know? And like before we just didn't have, I guess the capital is the right term, to be able to really invest into the podcast.
Yeah.
And so now we can do that. And it's because of you guys, which is really cool.
Yeah. And we didn't go the route of like getting a loan or anything like that, which I guess some people do is they take out a loan from the beginning, which kind of gives them this nice upstart. And they have to sustain that. Ours is just like literally ground floor.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like there's a couple things that's super boring to you guys, but able to buy an extra audio recorder, able to kind of switch up the way we do some recording, which is nice. Being able to hire a designer for the next t-shirt instead of me trying to create something on Illustrator and get super frustrated for a couple hours, which is what I was doing right before we hired the designer. So it's just cool. It's cool to see some stuff working, and you got to spend money to make money for a lot of the times. And so finally able to be like, no, this is money we made from the podcast, and we're able to spend it back on the podcast.
Everything. I'm not trying to really make money off the podcast at all. Really, I don't care. Like I've told you, like you're like, all right, what do you want your half? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, and so I spent your half.
Buy things. Like I don't need it.
I spent your half on stuff. There's still some left over, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, like the camera that we're recording this on is a new one. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, about the new design that I'm really excited about. So it's gonna say if you haven't, we'll post it on the Instagram. Okay, so we'll post it before this gets posted, maybe on a story or something. But if you didn't see it, I put it on my story because we actually had you guys vote on which one. They were pretty close, but one ended up winning decidedly at the end.
I think it was like 60-40.
Yeah, which was nice. But so basically it says work for change, change for life. And
technically it says work for change for life.
Yeah. It's because, but obviously it's meant to be work for change, change for life.
Yeah.
And so like I like that it says a lot without having to really know what it means. But at the same time, like like we can explain what it means, and I feel like it's even deeper than that, right? So like as far as like for me, obviously a big thing is weight loss and like helping other people lose weight.
Work for change for life, even by itself, like not work for change, change for life, but work for change for life. Even that means something, which I kind of like, you know, like the long-term consistency of it.
And yeah, exactly. Work for change for life, like comma almost.
Yeah.
Work for change for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so like the reason that I think it connects with me so much is that it's like anyone can go on some crash diet, lose a ton of weight, and then they gain it back, right? Like that's not obviously like the whole crux of my YouTube channel basically is showing people that one, you can lose weight, and two, you can keep it off, right? So like work for change and then change for life.
Yeah.
You know, and do it for the rest of your life kind of thing. And so I think it goes even deeper than that. Like what's one thing that it kind of like for you that it resonates?
Yeah, we were talking about it last week with Matt Vincent, but it's like there are skills you learn by accomplishing one thing that transfers to other things. So by learning a skill through hard work and discipline, you learn that the skill is just a byproduct, right? Like the skill you learned or the thing you learned or the whatever, like that's just a byproduct of hard work and discipline. And so hard work and discipline will help you become a great athlete. Hard work and discipline will help you lose weight. Hard work and discipline will help you become a great employee or a great boss or a great whatever. Like those two things, consistency, constantly putting your heart into it, constantly wanting to improve. Those are the things that are going to propel you. And the other things are just like byproducts of those two. So when I hear work for change for life, it's like this never satisfied, never content, always striving, always pursuing, you know? And so that's kind of like when I imagine work for change and whatever, I always take it to my like learning video editing and how that has completely changed my life. Like I learned video editing on a cheap computer from YouTube, and now I am a creative arts director. Like recently got a promotion at the beginning of this month where my job is creating an online video service, you know, as well as creating this podcast with video and stuff like that, and being able to have knowledge of the creative process to create shirts and branding and whatever. And then coaching is just that has nothing to do with video editing or whatever. But it was hard work and discipline, hard work and patience. Like, I need to study for this. I need to do this. I need to stay consistent. Okay, now that I've got my L1 and the world's shut down because of COVID, like I just need to stay consistent, stay going. And then now here I am coaching, and it's like being able to help people achieve goals, which is the best part of coaching. Like if you're coaching so that everyone looks at you, you've got the wrong motives. Like coaching is to help other people achieve their goals. And when someone gets their first muscle up or pull up or push up or whatever, it's like that is so exciting. And so be able to be a part of that as well. So that's kind of like work for change for life is just this, it's hard work and discipline, and it applies to everything, and just apply it to your life and you will see change and you will see results. That's kind of what it means to me.
Nice, man.
Yeah. So we're really excited about you guys, about those shirts. Like, this wasn't meant to be a huge advertisement for the shirt. It's just a concept. Was it? It's just a concept that we're excited about, you know, in a belief and it's an underlying never satisfied. Like, you're never content with.
Proud but never satisfied.
Is that a Christian
Guzman?
Yeah. I've got another design I'm ready for too. That I'll.
You'll let me know offline.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
I'm excited for not smelling like I smell right now.
Is that distracting you?
Yes, I can't stop thinking about it.
I don't smell it.
So, I mean, I'm glad that you can't smell, but I can. So I don't know if anyone else can relate, but you guys know how much I sweat. And so I did my laundry yesterday, and I had a bunch of sweaty clothes, and so I put them all in the washer, and I think the washer didn't, like, because ours is like an automatic. You put in clothes and it like, okay, I'm going to fill it out this much.
Yeah,
right?
it senses.
I feel like it didn't think there was as many clothes in there as there was. Because I remember walking by it midway through and I was like, there should be more water in there. Because I noticed it and I probably should have just rewashed them. But as I was taking them out of the washer into the dryer, I was like, these kind of smell musty. Like, and then, of course.
You did leave them in there for a day and a half.
No, I did not. It wasn't a day and a half. It was a day. I put them in yesterday morning. Maybe, was it even yesterday? I don't think it was even yesterday morning.
I think might have been yesterday morning.
It was either yesterday morning or yesterday afternoon. It was before I left to come here. And no, it was yesterday afternoon because I put them in and then I left, and I didn't leave yesterday until like noon.
Okay.
And so, which I mean, it's really not that much different. But I put them in yesterday, and then yes, I should have put them in the dryer. No, I put them in the dryer last night. So I put them in the dryer last night, and then I re-dried them this morning because they were probably wrinkly.
Yeah.
So it was only for the day.
Okay.
But
which is better than
a day and a half. Yeah. And so sometimes I'll leave them in for 2 days because I'm the worst. But and then I was taking them out of the washer, and I was like, it was late though, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I was just put them in there.
Yeah.
And then when I took them out of the dryer this morning, I was like, I don't know. And then now I was hoping it was like maybe I was thinking, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I think smells in my head. But then today after I worked out and I took a shower and I put on these, I put on this shirt, I was like, I can kind of smell something. And then I was hoping, okay, maybe it will like dissipate over time. No, it hasn't.
No.
I just feel like I smell musty and I can't stop thinking about it.
So you think you're going to go home after the podcast and change?
No, I'm just going to be gross, but it's annoying still.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And now I just have to find the shirts that I did this to and avoid wearing them forever.
Or wash them.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do.
Yeah.
But still. But yeah, so that's what I was thinking about the whole time you were talking about whatever you were talking about. I'm sure it was profound.
I wasn't talking about anything important. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Okay, so the other thing...
just my life's calling, but that's it.
Okay, so yeah, definitely not important. So today is actually a big day, so I'm really excited. So this has been something I've debated talking about for a long time on the podcast or anywhere in general. So over quarantine, everyone knows because I talked about it all the time. I even had a physical therapist come on the podcast. I hurt my back, right? I was doing a devil's press, jacked myself up. And then it ended up getting better. But then a few months ago, we were back squatting here at the gym, and I had 205 on the bar, squatted it, and I felt something in my back. Now, the thing that's crazy is that the pain that I felt from the back squat was like 20% of what I felt when I did the devil's press. Like, it did not hurt as bad. I was able to walk that day. I went on a walk later in the day. But since then, I haven't felt the same. And I think that a big part of it has been my own mental stuff. But I do think I think a big part of it also was like it was legit. Like there was problems. So over the past few months, like I've been kind of just like trying to do what I can to rehab it from what I learned with my PT. And honestly, like if he's listening to this, he's probably gonna be very mad at me that I didn't hit him up. But like one of my biggest flaws is that I hate feeling like a burden on people. And so I was just like, I didn't want to just act like, hey man, help me again. You know, I don't know. Like I reached out to him right after it happened and I said, hey, blah, 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 this is how I'm feeling. He was like, all right, well, if it persists, like hit me up. Mm-hmm. So he was totally willing to. Yeah. And it did. And I was just like, I'll be fine. And honestly, it's kind of scary talking about it on the podcast. The reason I didn't is because I was honestly afraid of people commenting about it.
CrossFit.
Like, yeah.
CrossFit,
you injured? And it was like, it was frustrating because I guess I technically was doing CrossFit, but I was just doing a back squat, warm up. Yeah. Like 205 for me, now probably is heavy, but like it's not heavy. Yeah. And so it was like, it's been kind of frustrating, but I'm not sure if people have noticed, but I haven't really been doing many classes because I'll just come and I'll do open gym and I'll just do what I can. So that was a lot of push-ups and pull-ups and rowing, or not even rowing, honestly, like biking, right? But recently my back has been feeling a lot better. And I think like part of what's been helping me is that I've actually recently switched to different types of shoes. And so when I run, I've been wearing Ultras, which are zero drop shoes. And then when I'm walking around, I've literally only worn these shoes, which are Vivo barefoot shoes, the past like 3 weeks, I think I've had them. And I think it's been a big help because I think my feet were really weak and they were always scrunched in shoes. And so that, and then just, I think time as well. Like, I don't think it was just the shoes. Like, please, I'm not that kind of person. But like, I think that it did help.
So we should wear the 5 fingers.
No, I'm never going to do that. Nope,
fingers.
I will never do it. No, you can't. You can't pay me enough money to wear those things. I'm sorry. I think my feet are too jacked up to wear those anyways. Like, you had to be able to space your toes out. My toes are like freaking like one thing, you know?
You have clubs.
Yeah, I have clubs on my feet. And so, but I have been like, I haven't been able to run much, but so this past week I was able to run a 10K, which is the first time I've ran a 10K in a long time, with no pain. No pain the day after, because today is the day after that I ran it. And 2, I was wearing the Ultras, which it's taken a long time to get used to running in those, because I used to run in shoes that were like the shoes I ran my marathon in were Brooks Adrenaline, and those have a 12 millimeter drop, which is about as high as you can get. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to 0. And so I went from those to running in the Nike not Epic React, the Infinity React. I know everyone's very interested in this, but and I started running in those, which I don't think they're a 12. I think they're a little bit less, but not by much. And then with the Ultras, when I got them, I was like, okay, I'm not going to run long distances. So I ran like a mile, and then I ran 2 miles, and then I did 2 miles for a while, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to run a 5K, and then I did 4 miles, and then eventually I've worked myself up to the 10K. But for me, it's been really cool because it's shown me that like I definitely do heel strike. Not tremendously bad, but with those shoes, because there's no drop, you just notice it a lot more.
Yeah.
Because there's no, like, when shoes have a drop, they also are normally like curved as well, and so it kind of propels you forward. So if you heel strike, 1, there's a lot of padding there, and 2, the shoe is made to rock you forward, right? And so I'm not sitting here saying everyone needs to try zero drop shoes. Like, I don't really care what you do, but like for me, I think it's been really helpful. But so I was able to run that 10K yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And then today I was actually able to do a workout that had like 135-pound clean and jerks. And for me, that's been huge. So like the things that I had to avoid were like squatting and then like hinging a lot. So like, basically most of what you do in CrossFit. Mm-hmm. So, and I feel fine, and like there would be times where I would try and do stuff, like I would try and do dumbbell deadlifts or like wall balls, and then I would feel okay doing it, but then an hour after the workout I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that, and it's been a few hours now and I feel fine still. So I'm really excited to hopefully jump back into more like more intense exercise, and also I'm excited to jump back into riding the bike, because the bike I think was because I was hunched over in that position, it just was uncomfortable. And then the day after, I would always not feel good at all. My back would hurt. And so I think, like, I haven't been riding my bike very much at all. And so I'm really excited to get back into that eventually too, because I still want to do a triathlon. It's been frustrating, man. Like it's been a few months that I haven't talked about this thing that's a huge part of my life, but because I'm afraid of people saying stuff, which I understand I shouldn't have done that. I don't like that I did it, but I did, It's just hard when you know you're going to deal with people being like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done this." And it's like, dude, injuries just happen, they just do. But so
just block them.
I mean, I could.
It's just a lot of blocking.
The thing is it's not much hate, but it's human nature is you focus on it.
Yeah. And
so whenever I get hate, the amount is always, even a lot of hate for me might be 3%. Mm-hmm. My normal hate for me is like 0.5%, and then a lot would be maybe 3%. So it's not. I don't deal with a lot of it.
We just got to work for change order.
A tremendous amount. That's awesome. I'm going to shout him out on podcast.
So how do you
shout out to Sahara? Okay.
Yeah, Sahara. Thanks, Sahara. How did you feel the day you did class? Because you did class recently for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah. So
like, how did that, like, not just like the workout intensity, but also like mentally, did you notice a shift?
Yeah.
And,
so for me, like I was saying earlier, I spend 12 to 14 hours in this office a day.
Yeah.
And I'm alone.
And you're alone. You're talking to computer people for a lot of it.
Or they're not real. Yeah,
or you're talking to a camera.
Yeah, 2 cameras now.
Yeah.
I'm changing it up.
Yeah. So you don't get a lot of flesh.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of flesh.
I don't get to eat a lot of flesh. Yeah.
No, you don't get a lot of flesh contact. You're not looking at people in the eyes.
Except for at night when we cuddle. But
yeah. But I don't let you look in the eyes. We do big spoon, little spoon.
Yeah. It was nice. It was definitely nice. That day I just did, there was kettlebell swings in it. So I was like, okay, I'll do lunges. It was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Lunges were way harder. Way harder. Because kettlebell swings is almost all momentum.
And it had a run.
Yeah.
So you were going from running
It was the hardest workout I've done in a long time. But I felt fine after that. But I was very, I just made sure I made the right sub, right? Mm. Which I'm not even sure if it was the right one, but it made it harder, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I was very sore for the next few days. But it was nice, like, being around people and working out with people, because I've been working out by myself just with headphones in, because it's open gym and everyone's doing their own thing, which I'm not complaining. I'm very happy that I was able to do that. Because, like, it would have really sucked if I couldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
And it worked out with my schedule anyways because the class that I usually do is the 9:30 class, and there's open gym for 2 hours afterwards. And so I just went to the gym a little bit later, which worked out because I've been staying up later because I'm here. You know what I mean? Like I go to sleep now at like 1 a.m. most days. I'll go to sleep at 1 a.m. and then I'll wake up at like 9, around 9.
You.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't know. I still get enough sleep.
I'm not saying no thank you, that's a bad habit. I'm just saying from my life.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah. I mean, you have a regular job. I almost said real job. I have a real job.
I have a real job.
But it's been like it was really nice, and that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm actually tomorrow is perfect because tomorrow is literally just like max calories and then rest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. I can definitely do that. Yeah, absolutely. That's the plan, unless I'm up too late and then I wake up at 9 and I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
Which has been happening sometimes. But yeah, so it's been a journey. Like, and I would be lying if I didn't say that it wasn't like it didn't stress me out. Like, 'cause it did.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were a lot of days where it's not like the pain never was anywhere near what it was the first time. Like ever. It hasn't been anywhere near, but I was like so conscious of it that I would try to make sure I didn't aggravate it extra, exponentially or whatever. Yeah. And so there would be days where I could bend over and it was fine, and there would be days where it was a little bit harder, and it was frustrating because I was like, I would have a day where it felt really good and I'm like, okay, I'm good. And then the next day I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And so the reason I'm talking about it now is because I feel like I've had a good enough amount of consecutive days where I felt fine.
Yeah.
To where I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I think we're on the back end of it.
Yeah.
And like as kind of lame as it is, I guess that's given me the courage to actually talk about it, because I actually feel like I'm finally on the upswing, I guess is the right term.
You know what's crazy is like you hear about a lot of athletes who talk about the couple, like the 6 months and the 8 months that they were injured and they were rehabbing, and it's like when you hear about it as a story, it's like, oh yeah, 6 months, that sucks. Mm-hmm. When you're living the 6 months, you're just like, I'm never going to get back together. I'm never going to be, I was listening to this podcast and I've just been kind of interested in back pain. Mm-hmm. I wonder why, right? And like they were just kind of talking about how no one knows why we have back pain. Mm-hmm. Like it's like you can go to 4 different physical therapists and they will give you 4 different reasons why your back hurts.
Yeah.
And it's hybrid podcast, right? So Steffi Cohen definitely knows her stuff. She's a chiropractor, a physical therapist, a physio, blah, blah, blah. She's a she's her doctorate. Like she's got a lot.
Super
she's
strong.
I think she's like an 11-time world record holder.
Yeah.
And it's I think I went low on that.
Yeah.
And about 2 years ago, she hurt her back. And so she's like on this quest to like figure out what's causing my back pain. Mm-hmm. And she has a book that's coming out soon about all the research about back pain and all that stuff and all the people she's talked to. And one of the things, and here's what I do when my back hurts, I stop working out.
Yeah, and you complain a lot.
Yeah, I complain a lot. I take actions now. I'm a man of action now. But like, we never think, well, let me just do the same thing but with less intensity. Mm-hmm. And she was saying that our brain, when we're a kid, the reason we know not to touch a hot stove is because we decided to touch a hot stove. Mm. And then as soon as
or a barbecue
or something, yeah. And then like I was an idiot, and you remember like crimpers, hair crimpers, where it made your hair like zigzagged. Mm-hmm. I put my hand in one of those. Nice. I'm like, okay, there are hot things out there. Mm-hmm. Okay, but now anytime you feel that sensation of heat, your brain knows the reaction.
Yeah,
it knows what it needs to do, and it's a violent reaction that your body doesn't even really think about. So she was saying that, or she was quoting someone who was researching that said that when we have back pain or when we have something like that, your brain does the same thing of like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like doing this thing. It makes me hurt. And then your body starts compensating as if your back was injured. And then you actually have this sensation of my back is injured. And so her fiance, husband, boyfriend,
partner.
Hayden, partner.
That's the easiest one.
Partner. Her life partner he was saying how he had like the knee thing.
Tendinitis?
Yeah, tendinitis in the knee, patella or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and he said that he had excruciating pain every time he lunged. And so this doctor prescribed to him. He's like, okay, I want you to lunge, but just do it body weight. And so he slowly started doing body weight lunges, and he would very low dose, but he would do some body weight lunges, and he slowly started incorporating it to where he just lunges and he doesn't feel any pain. And the only remedy was that he just lunged more.
Yeah.
But at a lighter weight with more. And then this doctor, he was saying like, Steffi, because her lower back, it's very similar to me. You know, that's what happens when you're just a high quality caliber of athlete that we are.
Jean, don't ever compare yourself to her. That is so rude to her.
It is.
If they hear this,
that was an insult.
Yeah, that was an insult.
That was an insult. Which I'm really getting into like strength and conditioning, which is kind of CrossFit, but kind of different. But that's a different thing. But this doctor. Back pain. Man, I got distracted when I compared myself to Steffi Cohen.
You said Steffi Cohen has the same back pain as you, and then you were going to explain how she got over it or something like that. Or what the doctor said.
Oh, so what she would say is like, okay, I have back pain. So in order to still squat or whatever, but working around in my training, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squat once every 8 days. Just to make sure I'm still getting it in my training, but not doing the intensity of it. And then this doctor was like, because they interviewed the doctor, like and he was like, and what happens after you squat? My back hurts. Yeah, because you waited 8 days. Yeah. If you waited 8 days between any movement and then you did it again, you're going to be sore. Yeah. Especially at the volume. She has like a 5 times her body weight deadlift or something like that. It's like something insane. Yeah. I have a 1 time my body weight deadlift, maybe 2. And so
I'd say you have a 2.
I have a 2. I know. I'm just being facetious now. But he's like, so instead, what I would say is microdose and squat once every day, but a little bit, you know, or like once every other day, but make the weight significantly lesser. What you're going to do is you're going to teach your brain's going to freak out at first. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? This is the thing that hurts us. But the more you do it, the more your brain's like, oh, no, we're okay. Yeah. Oh, we're all right. Oh, we're fine. And so I'm trying to embrace that into mine training, where it's like, okay, I'm not going to do the full weight here, or I'm not going to go as hard as I can here. Yeah. But I'm still going to do the movements because I need to teach my body that these movements are okay. Yeah. And at the same time, I'm still going to get an MRI at the end of this month, and I've been going to the chiropractor, and I got an X-ray, and so I'm still trying to do what I can, but also not like. I would do the same thing. I'm like, no, it hurts when I squat, so I'm not going to squat. Yeah. And then so every time I squat, of course I'm in pain because my body doesn't know what to do.
I think a big thing with like...
And this is not medical advice.
Yeah, please don't.
If you have a broken ankle, I'm not saying just run more.
Yeah. Jean told me to. It's like Monty Python. It's merely a flesh wound. Yeah. But I think like for me, that's kind of how when I first hurt my back, that's what we did. When I worked with CJ, who was the physical therapist that I worked with.
The movement doctor.
Yeah, the movement doctor. A lot of it was kind of doing this similar things, you know, just, you know, doing a squat with a med ball that's 20 pounds and just like slowly going down, you know, which is freaking scary. But I think like being able to deal with an injury and not catastrophize it and feel like this is the end of everything is I'm really proud that I've been able to do that. Yeah. And like, cause I wasn't sure, right? Cause I have people ask me all the time, like, aren't you afraid if you get injured that you'll gain on your weight back? And I've always said like, no, you know, I'll just eat less. And that's pretty much what's happened. You know, like I haven't been able to train as intensely. Like a lot of times I'll do 2 workouts a day, but it's like, it's my own little EMOM that I'll do in the morning, and then maybe I'll go on a walk. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Some people might not consider a walk a workout, but like, you know, when it's like a long walk, I would consider it that.
It's like 3 hours.
No,
2 hours.
It's like 2 hours. And again, I'm lucky that I can do that. Right? I understand that. But like being able to not like, and then like for me, it wasn't like if I feel injured, I'm never just going to stop moving. Like. But I just make sure I'm smart about the movements that I choose, you know? And like I would say I'm lucky that I have that knowledge just because I've been working out for, 7 years now or whatever. Yeah. And I've learned a lot and I've been able to work out with really smart people and talk with really smart people, right? But being able to feel like, okay, I have this injury, but it doesn't mean I can't do anything, right? Like if my back hurts, it doesn't mean I can't do push-ups. Why can't I ride a bike,
Yeah.
Like a assault bike, not when you're hunched over. But like find out what you can do. I can still do pull-ups, right? Like and the thing is, this time when it was injured, there was never a time when it was like a 8 or above pain. It was always like around 5 or less, But it was enough to where I was like, I'm not going to do intense workouts right now, But it's nice to feel like I'm hopefully on the other end of it for the most part. I'm just trying to be smart. Like today I did, like I said, I did clean and jerks with 135, which for me is not super heavy, but it was like I was just first off doing the movement again. I haven't done it in months now, and it was nice. Like it was definitely a nice feeling. Like doing clean and jerks like that makes your heart rate go high in a way that doing push-ups can't do. Like it just can't,
Yeah.
And so it feels good, and it feels good to feel like I can finally start training for aspirational goals that I have instead of just keeping what I have. Is kind of what I've been doing,
How did you string the clean and jerks?
No, just did all singles. I was just tried to be very intentional about how my back was and everything. And there was no time where I felt any strain at all. So like I felt completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was nice. Felt really good.
Today we had sets of 10.
I saw that.
Front squats. Like what?
How did you feel on those?
Fine. I felt fine. My back kind of got tight. Your back gets tight as you start cooling down.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it doesn't bother me at all. Like I feel fine. It's just illegal. It should be illegal. 10 reps of front
squats too, because the bar is on your neck.
Yeah, and you have to use your core to keep your elbows upright. Mm-hmm. So it's not a fun combo right there. Reps and front squats. But it's good. The thing that I've been working on is kind of like what you were talking about, but not like I don't catastrophize like you do. Mm-hmm. You are a elite level catastrophizer.
Yeah,
I am a elite level. It's not a big dealer.
Yeah, I can't relate.
Yeah, and so, but I think what I've been working on, what I've been trying to do is just like if I look at a workout and I go, that typically causes me pain. Mm-hmm. I think an old reaction is I'm not working out today.
Yeah.
And a new one is like, okay, well, what can I do? Okay, well, I don't want to run and squat on the same workout because that'll just jack me up. Mm-hmm. But I know if I ride a bike and squat, I'm a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Or if it's like running and squat cleans.
Yeah, you don't like not doing the class. Like you really struggle.
I like doing class.
Yeah.
I don't like not doing class.
For me, I think for me, like I've worked out on my own for years and years and years before I found CrossFit. So for me, it's not too big of a deal.
Yeah, I like working with the class and the shared suffering. And so now it's like if the workout is, let's just say it's a 400 meter run, 10 squat cleans, 20 kettlebell swings, right? It's like, okay, those 3 things are going to destroy me and my back is going to hurt so bad. But what I can do is 800 meter bike, 10 power cleans, and then 20 kettlebell swings. Mm-hmm. Something like that. Like, that's totally fine for me. That's not going to hurt me. And, like, learning that, and that's fine because that's my workout. So,
yeah. Being able to pivot is always really important, And, again, like that's why it's so helpful to have that base knowledge. And I think that's why it's important to be able to go to a gym where they allow you to do that, right? Like, if your gym is like, no, you have to do the workout or whatever, that's messed up,
Yeah.
All right, so one thing I wanted to talk about. The CrossFit Games happened, kind of. The section 1 of the CrossFit Games.
Part 1 of the CrossFit Games, field 1 or whatever.
So can you explain what the what's different this year than has been in the past? What are they doing?
There literally is not a single similarity. So basically, when COVID started, CrossFit was like, all right, well, and I love this about Dave Castro. I love that he never gave up. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a pretty cool thing. And now, because of his resilience, we have a CrossFit Games. So although it looks completely different this year, like, he still didn't give up.
Yeah. There's something there.
Yeah. And so...
When were the games supposed to happen this year?
August.
August? Okay.
Yeah, they would have already happened. They would have happened about a month ago, actually. So... Basically, with California is kind of more shut down than a lot of places. Mm-hmm. More open than a lot of places too, but more shut down than a lot of places. And so having a big crowd gather in a specific arena, that was just not going to happen. And so that was Madison. And Madison was like, no, we're not going to do that. So then Dave was like, oh, we'll just have the CrossFit Games at Aromas. It's not a big deal. And then a lot of people started freaking out about that. And then the restrictions got even stricter. So then Dave said, okay, what we'll do is we'll do 5 guys and 5 girls at Aromas. But how do we figure that out? Well, we just take the people who have already qualified for the CrossFit Games. And they qualified through the Open. I think those are the main ones because I think that people who originally had a lot of people who originally had their games ticket through a sanctional event got revoked.
Yeah. Sadly.
Yeah, because I was listening to some people talk about how they were so bummed. Like it was like their first CrossFit Games.
Yeah,
and
and that would suck.
Yeah. But if you made it through the Open, then you were good.
Yeah. But not the national champs though, right?
No, and the national champs didn't get it either. So then you're left with 20 guys, 10 guys, something like that. Like a smaller number. I think it's 20 guys, 20 girls. Or something like
30.
30? Mm-hmm. 30 guys and 30 girls. And what they do is they do an online competition. But so Rogue did one where everyone competed at the same exact time. The problem with that was that meant Iceland was doing it at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Whereas other people were doing it at 10 a.m. prime time. And so CrossFit, the way they did it was they said, Iceland, here's your time zone. You have to finish it in. And then, Australia, Europe, America, like you were based on your time zone. And so your workout wasn't like shown because if Iceland competes it, that gives someone in America like super big advantage. So after
a lot of people were mad about that they couldn't see the live streams.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks that a company that you didn't pay any money for didn't give a lot. Like, it was free. It was free entertainment.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, they did the live stream show, and almost every single CrossFit Games athlete hired a videographer.
Yeah, I know.
There was so much high quality stuff coming out of that. Like, so if you couldn't have, and multiple Games athlete posted their entire workouts online. So.
I know Craig did a lot of like side-by-side videos too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So it's like it was out there. Yeah, the fact that you're bummed that free content didn't fit your exact wish, you'll be okay.
So we know how to trigger Jean if you talk about free content.
If you have an opinion on how someone should do their free content that they're giving to you, with no, like.
So, hey,
there are worse things.
Take that into consideration if you ever say anything about this podcast, all right?
It is free. We just give it to you.
We just beg you to buy shirts.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all we do. All right?
Please buy one.
Yeah. I love you. And then, so basically at the end of the weekend, it was 2 days, 6 workouts, I think. I was not super in the loop. It was a very busy season.
Yeah, same here, dude.
But
that's why I asked you. Did you see how smooth that was?
Yeah.
I was like, explain it, because I have no idea.
At the end of the time, they had 5 guys, 5 girls. And before we say who the 5 guys, 5 girls are, who are now going to be...
5 men, 5 women.
5 guys, 5 girls. They're the same.
Okay, whatever you say.
Same thing. I personally do not find any offense to that. I am also not a girl.
So you're also not a woman.
Yeah, so that might be why.
Yep.
But... like if you said, what's up, guy, no guy would be offended. But if you say, what's up, girl, girls get offended.
It's because it's infantilizing.
Not if you're saying guy and girl. If you're saying boys and girls, I understand. But guy and girl, I think those, like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the issue, is like if you wouldn't call a 30-year-old dude a boy, but most people wouldn't.
But if girl is the opposite of guy, you know what I mean?
Well,
people are assuming.
I don't have an issue. I'm just explaining.
Because I've had someone go, like, woman, in real life.
Why don't you just be like, okay?
Because if guy is the opposite of girl, it's not offensive. But if you think of girl as the opposite of boy, I understand it. The problem is that there's one word to fit both those.
Yeah, that's the issue. So it's like, why not use the other word to?
Like, why? I don't know. Because it doesn't seem like an offensible item to me.
Okay.
That's why.
All right.
I just think it's like, it's one of those things that's like.
Oh, are you going to get canceled or what?
Probably. You know what? Like, if you're mad that someone called someone girl, your life is pretty good. If that's one of the things that you're mad about. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, if that's the level in which you go, this is the ground on which I stand. Don't ever call someone a girl. I was like, man, life's been good for you. That you can be mad about that.
I know a lot of. I know that there's a lot of women that don't care at all. But I don't know. I know that there are some that do care. So for me, it's just like in videos.
I would never call you boy, and I understand that because that does seem demeaning.
Yeah.
But the fact that girl is the opposite of guy.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, that's why it's like, I go, sup, guys, all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I call everyone guys.
Yeah.
In my chat, in my stream today, I was calling people dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to take a moral high ground.
I know you are. I know.
It's an interesting, because it's like, when I first heard it, I was confused. I was like, whoa. But then, for me, it's like, if I could avoid that comment, I'll avoid it and just say woman. Like, or lady, or whatever, you know? Which, I don't know.
And if someone...
for some reason, sounds more...
I'm a lady.
Yeah, it sounds weird to me. Tips Fedora.
Yeah.
Than saying girl. I don't know. I just heard you saying like, it a bunch of times, and I was like, oh.
It just seems like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, don't call it poop. It's feces. Mm-hmm. It's like they're both the same.
Yeah.
Like one is definitely a less academically approved term, but they both are the same thing.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my triggered.
I wonder if I feel like the consensus is most people don't care, but I mean it's like
there's
everything.
Enough
right? There's
people
a small
to care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's like there's enough people that will say something, so it's just easier for me to just say woman and move on.
Yeah. I think that
maybe that makes me a spineless person, but whatever, it's fine.
I have honestly like one thing in my life, one thing that I feel like I have been working on is like realizing that I have opinions on things, and like I don't need to be afraid of it. Someone can disagree with me, and guess what? They'll be okay. Like. They will be okay if I state an opinion that they disagree with. Their life will not change. No one's coming to say that they have to agree with me or else they don't not get to listen to the podcast anymore. Like, life will be okay if I say something that you disagree with. And if there are plenty of people that I disagree with, but I respect their hard work. I respect their hustle. I respect their whatever. And it's like, I don't agree with you on that, but I really respect what you have to say on these issues. And, like, that is okay in life. I don't know. That's one of the things, like, just like I am okay with people I look up to disagreeing with them, I need to give that same grace to, like, you know what? People are going to disagree with me, but that shouldn't make me afraid to say my opinion. So, anyway, women... Whammon. Or you can just get like PewDiePie mode and then just do it to offend people. So, were you surprised by the people who made it to the CrossFit Games?
Did we finish explaining what the whole deal was?
I think so. The top five
made it, right?
Top 5 males and females.
There you go.
That's an appropriate way. Made it to...
That could be offensive too, but we won't get into
top 5 people who I've identified as a male, and the top 5 people who I've identified as a female, and have had the proper hormone and testosterone and
testosterone
and estrogen tests.
Okay,
have
so
made it.
I'm getting away from that topic. It's my fault.
I'm leaning into it just because I know it's making you.
I'm just like
this talk.
Because you don't have to deal with it, dude. I live online, bro. You don't.
I'm the one saying it.
Yeah, but still, I'm gonna have to vouch for you.
I have a solid 8,000 followers on Instagram.
I don't know what my co-host was saying. I think he was drunk the day we recorded that.
Yeah.
But so I am surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not even slightly surprised about the top 2, but the bottom 3 that made subscribed
for men
that made it in the top 5. I am surprised just because I don't know them very well, which I guess who am I to judge, right? Yeah. I don't know. They're all very fit individuals, all 30 of these people. But so in the men's, it was Matt Frazier who had 656 points. Noah was second. Noah Olson 488. So almost a 200-point difference there. That's insane to me.
It's a little different. Point scoring was a little different than other games, but yeah.
But like still, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And then there was Justin Medeiros Am I saying that right?
I don't know.
Samuel Quant and Jeffrey Adler rounded out the top 5. So Jeffrey had 420. Samuel Quant had 449, and Justin had 480. But what's really crazy, and that I'm really bummed out about, Chandler Smith was 2 points behind.
Mm-hmm. You know what that
almost made it.
Did you see the morning chalk up? What they said that translated to?
What?
Let me.
I'll just keep going though.
Quick, yeah.
After Chandler was John Nikoski and then BKG.
Yonikoski.
Okay, I knew I was gonna say that wrong. And then so Patrick Vellner was 9th.
Yeah, he had a rough first day.
Really?
Yeah, he was 21st by the end of.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then let's see. I'm just looking for notable names. So Jacob Hepner was 12th. Brett Fikowski was 15th. Travis Mayer, 19th. Cole Sager, 20th. Saxon Panchik, 21st. Yeah. And that kind of rounds it out.
You want to hear this about Chandler Swift?
Yeah.
Had Chandler Smith rode 0.01 second faster or held his handstand for 1 more second, he would have qualified for the games.
Oh. Yeah,
0.01
So
faster
what that
row.
means, the reason he's saying that is, so 2 of the events, one was 1,000-meter row for time, which probably sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And the other one was handstand hold.
Yeah.
Max you could go was 20 minutes. No one came close to that, right?
No, Katrin got 250 or 240.
Well, because
or something like that.
there's no reason, like, once you beat the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess they don't know anyone
They
else's
don't know,
times.
so they're just going as long as they can.
Yeah. So those were the men, and yeah, I mean,
I'm bummed that Vellner's not there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't there, but at the same time, it's like at least there's something, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish they would do the top 10. That was like my big thing. Who knows, man? California, tomorrow we're going to find out that we're closing down again. So
it's true.
Like, that's not even being sarcastic. Like, that's going to happen, unfortunately.
All right, so in the women, it was a little bit less. It's actually not very surprising at all. So Tia was.
I'm kind of surprised by some.
Yeah, I mean, they're all notable names, is what I mean. So Tia got first place, 615 points. So she didn't have as big of a lead. Brooke Wells, which is actually surprising. She had 580 points in second. Haley Adams, who is 19 years old. We need to get her on the podcast.
I know.
That's not surprising to me, but I guess like we're friends, like we've hung out before, so I'm just like, she's the best.
Yeah, she's just not as strong.
I know.
The fact that she made it and she's not as strong.
What she get on the
mind.
front squat? She got 26th place.
Yeah.
230 pounds. But she's so young, dude. She still has years to gain strength.
I know.
Like that, it's insane.
Well, but the problem with strength is it takes years to gain.
That's true.
So if she keeps on spending all of her time focusing on metcons and blah, 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 like it's going to be really hard for her to gain strength.
Yeah, that's true.
Gaining strength is like, all right, I'm going to do 3 years of a squat cycle, over and over and over and over again.
4 is Katrin Davidsdottir, and 5 is Carrie Pierce.
Not surprising.
You think Katrin Davidsdottir is surprising?
I'm surprised that Katrin made
Why?
it. She's typically hangs out at the bottom of the pack, but hangs out in the middle of the pack. And it's her consistency that gives her a good score. Mm-hmm. And that means that it takes 5 days of consistency for her to build her way up. Mm-hmm. Whereas this was a 2-day competition.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I mean? So that's why it was surprising to me. I mean, I love that she made it. Like, I think that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Her and Haley. Like, those are two, and Brooke. Mm-hmm. Honestly, like, those are like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. I'm super stoked. But it was just enough for me to be like, oh, shoot.
Yeah. And Carrie Pierce is always at the top. I don't think she's ever podiumed, though, right?
I don't think she's podiumed. She's the fittest American to never podium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's that's what they did. And then do you know when the games takes place?
In a couple weeks. I don't know. I don't know when the games happen. So eventually, they happen eventually. So
I think it's cool that they at least tried something, you know. But I don't know. It's just hard. I mean, other things are kind of opening up. That's why it's surprising, and I guess it's just because Aromas isn't very big that they couldn't do more, right? Because I mean, there's
it's not a stadium; it's a ranch.
It's a ranch, yeah. But it's like because there's football is still going on and all that stuff. But they have
in the crowd.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying like they have a huge stadium, right? Like so at Aromas, they can't have a bunch of people there. Mm-hmm.
Is football doing the bubble though?
I don't know anything about sports, dude.
I'm pretty sure. Like, so the difference
are they
is
all
like,
doing the bubble?
I think that they all have like a hotel, and like maybe they're not doing a bubble, but like they all get COVID tested when they come to the hotel. They get COVID tested before the game. They get COVID tested after the game or something like that. Like it's some like crazy thing. No one in the stands and the audience, obviously. I know the NBA is doing the bubble, which is wild. Unless it's already over, I don't know. I don't follow basketball.
No, I think the finals are going on right now. Or semifinal. I don't know.
So yeah, the bubble's weird, but I'm glad that something's happening because there's a very real possibility that there could have been no games in 2020.
Oh yeah, easily.
You know, and so the fact that they like stuck it through, even amidst all the change and chaos, I think is awesome.
And it's cool that they sent people stuff still, which I think is crazy.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of clothes. And then didn't they sent judges, right? Everyone had to judge because it's only 30 people.
Yeah.
It was 60 people, but
yeah. Everyone had judges. Our boy Jason Ackerman was judging Jacob Hepner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's probably a wild bunch. I can't imagine what Jason Ackerman and Jacob Hepner are like together. That's probably wild. But yeah, I don't know. I was super like choked up, or not choked up. I was super stoked for Haley because she like posted this video, and it's like her and Rich and Tasia, and they're all praying beforehand, and then they're all there in the barn supporting her. She's doing it, and like to have that community around you, and all of them, like almost all the athletes, they had their gym community there, rooting them on and cheering them. And that just goes to show like how important it is to have people surrounding you. Like an athlete is very much a one person gets all the glory. But it's the people around them that build them and allow them, like, you know, the stereotypical answer would be Matt Frazier, who talks about Sammy, who does everything for him. All he does is work out. But it's like there's an element of, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with someone. And it's like you can really see that the communities that have rallied around these people to allow them to be where they are. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm happy for Noah. Because I know a lot of people were like, oh, he just kind of like, last year it was a fluke. Like, I saw comments and stuff, and I'm like, dude, he's been up at the top, like, every year he's competed, really. Yeah. You know? Like, he's just had a couple slip-ups that will bring him down. But, like, for the most part, his performances are always super high. So I think that's really cool. I'm super stoked. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
So.
You got second place, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Second place.
Second place. And then we'll see. I'm excited to see what the games bring on, and I'm excited. I haven't been able to watch the 50-minute Buttery Bros video yet, but I'm excited to watch that. That'll be fun. Just good times for the games.
Sweet, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode, or listening, probably, for the most part. Listening to this episode number 96 of the Work for Change podcast. You guys are awesome. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, which is Work for Change podcast. And make sure you pick up a shirt, man. I mean, they're not going to be out yet when this comes out, but they will be soon. But we are selling the red shirts right now.
Yeah, red shirts, and we still got the other shirts, right?
Yep, up to 5XL in some of them.
Yeah. All right, guys. Talk to you next week.
Peace.
Peace.